Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Laura James, your host, and today we are talking about Winfried Feneberg, who is the recipient of the New Hampshire Superintendent of the Year Award. We had the opportunity to speak with his fellow educators and colleagues to talk a little bit about why he was worthy of this award. We spoke with Michael Bessette, who gave us some details.
I think it starts with care. I believe in my heart that Winfried truly cares about every single person that he works with. He puts as much effort into working in any situation with any employee as any superintendent I've ever met. He truly believes in working to support the needs of the people he represents in terms of our community of educators, our community at large in terms of students and leaders. It's just an amazing experience to see somebody who is as dedicated to caring for other people in this line of work. So I say care starts it. I think the other thing that I believe that Winfried brings to the table is a wide range of experiences. He has worked in a variety of different settings, but some atypical to some of the superintendents that perhaps have climbed the more traditional ladder of teacher to principal to superintendent. He started his career more as a school psychologist, and I think that line of work helped to temper his perspective a little bit differently than perhaps some of his colleagues in a very positive way. He sees things sometimes that we might miss. And so it's been a rewarding experience to watch him work with other people and learn sometimes about the things that may not be as easily recognized when you may have taken that more traditional approach.
We asked Michael about Superintendent Feneberg's vision and how he implements it.
Well, there's two ways that I can think of right out of the gate that kind of speak to that for him. The first one that I encountered when I first came here in 2016 was the strategic planning work that he's done to date. And were one to go back and take a look at how he designed the strategic plan, you would find very quickly that he keeps in mind the 7 towns and the very strong differences between the communities in the towns. But in so doing, he's created a mindful approach to thoughtfully creating goals and objectives under our mission that involve the voices of all of those constituents. And he works very hard to reach out and talk with and go out and visit the schools and the communities in those towns so that he has a full grasp and understanding of what it is that's valuable to them and what's important to them when developing an educational system around those desires. You'll find right out of the gate when you go through that strategic plan that even the process of that plan itself is an ongoing process. It's not a 3 and done, let's reinvent type of model. It's a sustained model that continues to evolve and grow over time, again, based on a lot of the needs of the community that he represents. And I think the most recent example for me is the way in which he's embraced and taken on the pandemic itself and the reopening plan, in which he picked 3 very specific targets or pillars, if you will, regarding how he envisioned the reopening of this district in incredibly challenging times. And so he focused on building pillars of safety. He wanted to have quality, and he also wanted to have equity.
Within the 3 pillars, we asked Michael to explain the third one, equity.
Well, one example, and there are many different types of equity that are out there, is financial equity. I mean, we can take a look at the representative populations within the 7 towns, and we have about 30 to 35% of our families that qualify for free and reduced lunches. So with that in mind, financial equity is a very big problem with the pandemic. It's a big problem across the board when it comes to sustaining a large school district. He focuses on trying to make sure that students and families have equitable experiences in the education, regardless of whether it's during the pandemic or during normal circumstances. It's very important to him to focus on creating projects and seeing those projects through that help to provide those students access to learning in a quality way. He's pushed very hard to make sure that our families and our students have solid one-to-one computing technologies. He's been a vocal advocate for trying to get internet saturation into towns and regions within our communities in support of families who need to work from home. He's constantly reflecting on how can he make the best experience for our 7 towns and their constituents and the children in particular, based on what we provide, not just what they bring to the table. So it's a balancing act of trying to represent all of their needs, some of which are financial. Other types of equity are balancing, for example, the point of view that the constituents want to bring forward. Not everybody wants to see their children go to a 4-year Harvard University. Some want to see their children move into the trades or applied trades and computers or whatnot. I think one of the things that I appreciate most in Winfried is his utter and complete respect for the family's choice as to what they see in the best interests of their own student and the student themselves, frankly, and their vision for what they want to learn.
We asked Michael if he had any closing thoughts.
I can't think of a person who deserved the Superintendent of the Year award more.